Welcome back to the European LCS. We're going to break down our last match where Gambit defeated Millenium. And guys, what a surprise, a Tristana and a Kog'Maw, and just a lot of elements we've seen a lot of times here today already.
Yes, definitely the same recipe this time round. Gambit actually pulling out the stops. They managed to control Millenium. Looked hairy at the beginning, but these teams just went nuts. It was constant fights after fights after fights, and it was very exciting to watch, but you can't ignore the fact that the teams are much more invested in killing each other than killing towers.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game style that actually suited both teams. Both loved to brawl. Clearly, Gambit, they were happy to just keep throwing everything at Millenium. You know, every time they got in there, poor old Kubon in the top lane. I don't know what everybody had against him, but he was constantly being focused. But the thing is, he's the tank. As they constantly kept going towards him, Kevin again on Yasuo, managed to sneak it through once again, Twisted Fate. So maybe they thought they'd caught out Gambit with that one, but Gambit were prepared. Again, you know, as I'm talking about the Kubon with Maokai, proving that Maokai on that top lane, there's a reason he's been banned a lot today. He is a big tanky threat that can also put out damage.
Yeah, and he also brings a lot of utility when it comes to team fights and Barons, for example. And let's actually take a look at some of the Baron fights and the fights in the game. Let's get the first one up on the screen. Is one where Millenium gets away with it.
So it was very difficult picking the team fight we wanted to put on the desk because there were a bajillion of them. Now, this particular fight actually started out with Gambit pushing Millenium away. And Millenium were forced low. You can see Creatine is still dead as Gambit start the Baron off. But take a look at this, 10 to 11 kills at 25 minutes. Only 5 towers killed at this stage in the game. Let's roll a clip out, and you'll notice Millenium engage Gambit in a 3 versus 5. Kevin is out of position. He's actually only going to catch Kubon with his ultimate in a couple of moments. And it looks very, very scary for Millenium. It was this team fight that really signaled to me that Gambit were going to be able to control the tempo of the game because they had a very solid fight. The only thing they didn't count on was the re-engage from Kerp on the sidelines, and Creatine's about to jump in here and clean house as well. So low health Gambit after they made Millenium get low health and Millenium re-engage. And this is just the entirety of the game, over and over and over. Teams throwing every single life they have at their opponents. And it was exciting to watch, but you could argue there was an element of sloppiness in there, but it was definitely fun.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly close. If you just caught the end in the corner there, Genja versus Kerp, it could have gone either way. And if Kerp would have won that fight, suddenly taking down Genja, could have got another kill and maybe taken objectives. But Gambit, again, coming out on top in the team fights. But they were very, very tight team fights. Kerp using that Destiny there with no mana. Yeah. I mean, even it caught Joe and Division. I was like, what's he doing?
He's just going for a nice ride.
Yeah.
He's just going for a nice ride. Let's take a look at the second fight then that was also deciding in this game. Let's get that up on the screen where we see how important Kerp is, and he does get away.
So this one, Kerp manages to survive. It's 10 minutes later. The gold is more even. Please take note, in 10 minutes time, only 1 tower has fallen. On the side of Gambit. They've secured one from Millenium. And this was the team fight where Gambit ended up coming up victorious and grabbing an inhibitor. Roll this clip out and look at just how poorly positioned Millenium are. They're against a massive AoE team composition. Kubon's going to jump in there with his ulti running. Edward's going to throw the barrel. Mega Inferno Bomb just melts Millenium. And even though, yes, they grab the Baron, they get obliterated in the team fight, losing 4 members. They lose all of their map control. And once those super minions were pouring down the middle, Gambit then actually had map presence and map control. Took them a little while to close the game out, but it didn't matter. That was the fight that solidified their lead.
It actually made me think of the SK win earlier when they all, Alliance all went into the Baron pit and Orianna could just ult in. And talking about SK, seeing Millenium lose here again, it is really middle of the table mayhem. And the most surprised I think I am is by both Super Hakru and Millenium in this instance.
You know, we were talking about how Copenhagen Wolves and Gambit could be spoilers. They are exactly that. They're putting wins in against these mid-table teams who seem to have took their eye off the ball for some reason this week. Ironically, Millenium and Super Hakru, who coming into this week, we were like, guaranteed 3rd place. They're slipping away. SK are looking stronger. Gambit have suddenly turned around. We just heard a great interview from Nick there talking about how suddenly people's eyes have been opened up to actually listening to the analysts. If only they'd have been done that midway through the season, they may not have been bottom of the table.
Yeah, and just one note about Gambit as well. They're still 1 game away from the Copenhagen Wolves. So tomorrow, if Gambit beat SK Gaming, it's a tough ask, I know, but if they do that and Copenhagen Wolves lose to the Super Hot Crew, that will be a tie for the 7th place seed. So that is what Gambit have to be setting their sights on. They just took Millenium down. Millenium are not performing up to the same level as SK, but there's possibilities for Gambit to grab that 7th place as well.
Absolutely, finally coming into form. Now, before we head back to Joe and the Fee Show, Jess still hopes that SK will make it